Welcome to today's video. We're going to go over our March TBR and our February reading wrap up. I have tried to get the books kind of like in the background so you get a general idea since I don't go over all of them. It's a little wonky, setup's a little wonky. We're just going with it today. Let's jump into our March TBR. I intend to read more than 4 books, but these are going to be the 4 main books that I intend on reading in the month of March. So starting with the first one, which I don't have a physical copy of it yet. I got it on like audio or Kindle. I don't remember which one, but I do have one of them. And it is Listen to Your Sister by Nina Vale, which is a horror. There's 3 siblings, Calla, Jamie, and Dre. Calla is the sister. She's trying to get guardianship of her younger brother, Jamie. Dre is the other brother. He's helping, but then he kind of goes off and does his own thing. However, she has these like dreams that usually I kind of get the impression like prophesy stuff that's going to happen. I don't know if that's a real word, but we're going with it. So she starts having these dreams about her brother's dying. They go to a cabin to like hide away and figure out what's going on. This is compared to Stranger Things. Like for people who are fans of Stranger Things, I have not actually watched like all of Stranger Things. My husband watches it and I catch bits and pieces of it and I like it. So I would say I'm a Stranger Things fan, but that kind of idea has really intrigued me. So that is the first book that we are going to read. The next book is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is one, I think it was like on TikTok or maybe it was on YouTube. I saw somebody kind of like pitching it and it caught my eye, which is funny because I've seen this in things and it never caught my eye, but this time it did. So this is a world that's almost like a utopia. People don't die, but there's these scythes that essentially kind of control who lives and who dies and are like Grim Reapers. Then there's 2 people, what were the names? Citra and Rowan, who become these apprentices and they have to figure out how to be really good at it or face consequences. I think it's interesting. It is part of a series. So the world building is really what I'm hoping to get into, especially with it being a series that we can really dive into that world. And that's really what intrigued me. So this is on the list. The next one is a TBR jar that I literally just picked out like seconds ago. When you see the video, I'm gonna be wearing the same shirt. So this is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. This is a fantasy romance. I always love that. Mariel Spark is a super powerful witch, the most powerful in her family line. However, she's not really into using magic, which if I had magic, that would not be me. However, she's not really into it, but she needs to conjure up flour, it says, and it goes wrong. And she conjures up a demon named, what was his name? Ozrith the Ruthless, who's this legendary demon. I'm assuming they're going to fall in love, so that'll be kind of fun to see how that goes. Another book that I am super excited to read is the second in the Crimson Moss series, Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. Only thing that really makes me mad is the fact that I got the first one through Book of the Month. Book of the Month's not doing the second one, which is fine. However, I ordered the hard copy of it, which you may be only able to order the hard copy, but that's beyond the point. They are not the same size, and that's really going to bug me. But I'm still really excited for it. Rune, as we know, if you've seen the first one, Rune is the Crimson Moth. Then there's Gideon Sharp, who's this infamous witch hunter. If you want to see the first one and my review, I'll leave it linked, so I won't like go into the background of this. But this one is Rune's now on the run because she's been figured out. She is getting linked up with, what was her name? Cressida? Yeah, Cressida Roseblood, who is like in the first one kind of maybe not a good witch, but anyways, they're now kind of linking up and trying to bring back the Reign of the Witches. Gideon is heartbroken, but bound and determined to make sure that she does not bring back the Reign of Witches. My assumption is that the Reign of Witches are going to come back and they're going to fall in love and also be happy. But either way, I'm still really excited and we will keep you updated. So that really wraps it up pretty quickly in the 4 that I want to read. And so now we will move into the February reading wrap up. Before we go into the details, let's go over my stats. I am looking down because I have them on my phone. So I read a total of 8 books, an average page count of 342, and an average of 19 months on my TBR. I also averaged a rating of 3.25, a little bit down from last month's 3.8, I believe it was, but still a very good month. And I brought my percent of my physical TBR read, to 69.21%, up from 67.3%. I really only did read books that I had a physical copy of already, which is awesome. I either have or will be posting individual reviews of everything, so I will just link my shorts review down below if you want to check them out or binge it. Look at me being such a YouTuber. I'm pretty sure only my mother watches my videos. Instead of going over all the details, I'm just going to go over my biggest disappointment, my favorite, and my biggest surprise. Again, these are all prompts from books like Whoa. If you have any other ideas of ways to pick out which specific ones I'm going to talk about in this, leave a comment down below. My first one, I'm really not surprised by this, was The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. I really love TJ Klune books. The thing about his writing is there's such a world and character building. He has such a way with writing characters. You really like them. I don't want to give too much away about this. This is my least favorite so far of his, and that's only because the twist that's basically the trope of this, and I don't want to give anything away, so I'm not going to say what it is my least favorite. However, I would still reread this book. It's a 4-star, 4.5. Like, I still very much enjoyed this book and would recommend Artemis Darth Vader, or Art. She's such a character. I love the way she talks, the characters' interactions, all that. So I guess let me tell you what this is about. So Nate is this journalist. His career's kind of fallen to pieces based on some stuff that he's done. His parents have both passed away very tragically. That go into detail about that. And then he's estranged from his brother. But after his parents died, he was left his dad's truck and their cabin that's kind of off in the middle of nowhere. So he decides, I'm going to go to this cabin, kind of regroup, figure out life from there. And he goes there, and there's a gentleman and this young girl who he's not sure if they're father, daughter, or not. It's very off, but they are staying in his cabin. And he also figures out, like, there's something up with this. Art is special in a very special way, and their story comes together. Sorry, had a little interruption. I'm not sure where it was, but the only thing I didn't like about this is, like, there's all this buildup and it ended just a little too soon for me. I felt like it kind of rushed to the ending, but overall, definitely my favorite of the month, and I really enjoyed it. The biggest disappointment was The Day After the Party by Nicole Trope. So Caitlin is throwing this birthday party. However, she wakes up in the hospital. She really has no memory of anything. They're telling her that she has this very specialized amnesia, but her husband and her best friend are being very suspicious. She's starting to wonder, is somebody having an affair? What's happening? And you're kind of going along with trying to figure out what's happening. So this is a very short thriller. I really like that premise. But this just felt like we were going through a lot of the really same things and the same conversations, and it felt very long for how short it was. It felt like there wasn't much happening. It was just the same thing over and over. I just don't really know. It was just a letdown because I just felt there was just not much to it. It could have been better. It just really dragged on for me. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but overall, it's not my favorite. Glad I read it. We'll move on. And my biggest surprise is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is the biggest surprise because the main character. So Lucy was found with her best friend Savvy's blood all over her. Savvy's dead. She has no memory of what happened. 2 books with amnesia. Weird. That just dawned on me. Anyways. So she doesn't know, and she has moved away to California to kind of forget about it. It's 5 years later, and her grandma's like, can you come back to Texas for my birthday? So it's her first time back, and there's a podcast called Listen for the Lie that is bringing up the story, and the podcast host, Ben, is in town the same time Lucy is. what made this the biggest surprise was Lucy, because the way she's written for a character who doesn't know if she did it or not, she just really, like, somebody kind of is like, oh, you know, like, she could have done it, whatever. She really just kind of feeds into it. She's got a very dry, dark sense of humor. She's constantly thinking about how she could murder somebody, which kind of makes you think, like, this is kind of weird, or maybe you really did do it. Yeah, I just thought, and it's also got a podcast aspect to it, but the way she's written is not typically how you would see a character written in a situation like that. I think that really added to it, really helped me be engaged. It's what I remember about the book the most, and I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much without that. But yeah, I just really like that little twist in the podcast. So that is why it is my biggest surprise. Overall, that is a really quick wrap of everything that I have read in the month of February, along with the top 4 books that I hope to read in March. And if you've read any of these books or have book suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!